Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another scene of Living World of Darkness, Changeling, the New Hope venue. We start the scene in the Queen's Baronial Freehold, where after events in previous scenes, at least, Terry was given a room to, sort of, uh, well, rest in. Um, she did sleep for a little bit, but really not very restful. But after a few hours, um, she doesn't quite know how many. She gets up, she gets out, and yeah, is going to. She doesn't really know what to do, so probably just head towards the Bronx. And she's not necessarily looking where she's going. It's kind of, zombie mode, walking through the freehold towards the exit. She, like, her eyes are definitely very poofy. And she just honestly looks like a terrible mess. And as she's not really watching where she's going, you know, to Pooka, it makes sense that they literally bump into each other around like rounding a corner or something.
Yeah, I was thinking she could maybe just pop out from a different doorway that, you happen to be passing by.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's more than one doorway in.
Yeah.
So, and being as how she's here all the time, she knows probably every door. So, um, yeah, she just kind of pops out. There's, you know, probably caught the smell before you realized who she was, because Trubbish is at her feet with the two owls. Um, and yeah, she's carrying like a notebook and just looks like she's been. I mean, she's wearing all black. She now has like a little. She's wearing her necklace. Um, but now there's sort of a second charm underneath it. That's like a lion. Her necklace that has the illuminated moon and stars on it that she usually wears.
Mhm.
But now there's the Fiona. There's a Fiona lion that's like underneath the illuminated one. If you were to pay any attention to that. Um,
At the
but yeah,
moment,
so
I don't think so. I
it's
don't
fine. I'm
even
letting
think
you
Terry
know.
will really notice the smell.
It's fine. Either way, she probably. I'm gonna say honestly because yeah, she probably just steps out and probably just barely manages to not hit you because she wasn't rushing when she has this many creatures on her. And she's just gonna
um.
kind of pause, like, "Whoa, uh, hi,
Oh, hey, Donna.
what's wrong?"
Um. Nothing. Everything is fine.
Okay, um, are you getting out of here?
Yeah. No real reason for me to stay here. You know.
Um, okay. I mean, she looks sort of puzzled by this. Why don't you come with me for a little bit? We can grab a pizza on the way.
Yeah. Um. Pizza sounds amazing, especially with tuna. That she swallows, because that was Alistair's favorite pizza.
Of course
I'll
it
come
was.
along.
Papa John Playland.
Of course it was, right?
Jesus Christ. It was Travis's too.
I mean, Alistair being a polar bear with Pooka, it kind of made sense, you know?
Come on. And she's gonna like grab her arm and just sort of kind of start steering her, you know, past the guards and stuff. Unless of course you pull away. She's not gonna like make you continue going if you like really don't want to.
No. Like Terry's following.
Okay. Well, Donna will actually go to like, you know, she knows, you know, this is Queens. This is her thing. She knows Queens, so she's going to stop at a local pizza place along the way that she happens to know makes, you know, and for what makes really good pizza. And for one, she's not going to get crickets on there, which you know, she just likes grossing people out with it. She just likes grossing people. Let's be honest. So she'll walk in there and she'll get like a half tuna, half I don't know. We'll say something veggie at this point, like a half veggie pizza. And she'll come back out. She basically would have looked at her and been like, "Sit here. I'll be right back. Just gonna get a pizza, and then we're gonna keep going. Just sit." And she's like gonna point to like a bench.
Plunk. Terry is gonna just drop on the bench.
Okay. She probably comes out maybe 15 minutes later. And she's going to continue until she gets to whatever form of transportation it requires. She's going to continue until they're at the freehold that they fought at just a couple of days ago. And she's gonna like the bridge is like half built, but and she's gonna kind of walk across it, but having to do that hop, skip, jump thing, you know, because there's parts of it there and parts of it not, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna be like, "Come on."
Yep, Terry is still almost mindlessly following. Like there's just seems to be a general lack of energy.
Well, Donna doesn't go very far. She just goes like inside, and I'm gonna say probably the mess has started to be cleaned up in the courtyard that she had arranged to be there, and she's just gonna stop like off to the left side of the door and just kind of drop to sit in an empty space with the pizza in front of her, and she'll point across from her, you know, across and on the other side of the pizza, and she'll be like, "Sit," and then you can stop following my orders.
Flop. Terry just sits down again.
I know there's some drinks here, so we can grab them if we need them. There's water or something. It's obviously not very stuffed yet, but I'm working on that.
So, is this is I take it this place belongs to you then, since you're arranging for things to be done here.
Well, as it turns out, you know, since we had such a surplus of knights here, you're definitely not low on knights, and therefore, well, I defended it once, right? Apparently, this is mine.
Congratulations.
I didn't really want it. But thank
I get that.
somebody has to keep this place as safe as they can. And I guess that's me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's an honor, but what a price, you know?
Yeah.
And she's going to open the box and reach in for a piece of the veggie pizza. And if Tara doesn't look like she's about to reach in and grab some, Donna's going to pull a piece of pizza out and put it in her hand. Like she'll take her hand, spread it out flat, and place it on top of the hand.
Terry's just gonna, stare at the pizza slice, at the tuna on it, and sort of, yeah, she didn't thought she had tears left, but there's tears, not yet falling, but definitely like she's trying to blink them away as she looks at just the slice. And
Donna's mouth is full because she's hungry. But she is going to reach into her bag with her other hand. She's kind of rummaging around. And she'll finally pull out a really crumpled napkin. I mean, it's clean, but she'll pull just like one crumpled napkin out and she'll offer it. For whatever use Terry wants to use it, whether it's to wipe her eyes or to wipe her fingers after pizza. Whichever.
she'll take the napkin, and she, does the thing of like, when your nose is clogged and you're trying to get it open.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So talk. There's something I need to talk to you about too, but I think yours might be a little more important right this moment.
I I got to I got to talk to Jarek, and like we were talking, and he asked if I got his messenger, and I didn't. And he said I needed to go to Alistair, and just the way he said it, so I went there, and he was not better, wasn't healing for some reason, and later they said it was poison, but they couldn't see it before.
Are you saying Alistair is... Donna doesn't even say the word. Like she kind of opens her mouth and can't find the right thing to say right then.
So fast.
Donna will put down her piece of pizza and she's going to move next to her and pretty much ignore the piece of pizza that you're still holding. And she's just going to hug you. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. You can push her off, of course.
Terry doesn't. She's like Donna can feel like Terry's body just shaking, and she actually leans into Donna. She's trying very hard not to break down. Sorry, I know you have better things to do, and so does everyone else, so I'm just gonna leave.
When are you going to stop assuming that?
Definitely tomorrow.
Good, so you can start tonight instead. Listen, I'm so sorry. I brought you here because I knew nobody else was going to be around. I haven't even officially claimed it yet. I don't think it's going to look like this once I do. And she gestures like towards the hole in the wall, you know?
I just can't imagine a world where he's not, at least somewhere.
He is somewhere. That's the thing. And I know this sucks, and I'm not telling you that you shouldn't feel like this, but he is out there somewhere.
I know, but it's still.
It means that he's not with you now.
Worst thing is, it was some sort of slow poison that didn't activate until spring was gone.
Sometimes the dreaming can be cruel, and even more so the lame.
I tried to heal him. Instead, I made things worse.
Okay, listen, you could not have known that. And her arms just get tighter. Like if you even tried to move right now, there would be a strength check. You didn't know that. You couldn't have known that, and he knows that. Trust me on this. He knows. Or at least he will know once he remembers more about his past life.
Yeah, God.
I have a question for you.
Might be tough.
No, it has to do with your current situation.
I meant the question part.
This is true. So maybe I'll state the situation to you.
Sure.
I have a source that I could potentially find out where he is now. Is that knowing that information something that would help you?
Um, I, I don't know.
Let me put it to you this way. I know exactly where Ragnar is. You know how much he mattered. And he still does. And it helps because I can make his life be good. You know? Like be a fairy godmother. He doesn't know me, and I'm staying out of his life, but there's no reason why I can't make him win a few contests, as she uses air quotes, to get some free lessons in whatever he wants. Make sure he's good and has a good life. You can think about it. How about that?
Yeah. Just give me like, I don't know, a day or something. I just need to think on how to tell his daughter. She's not one of us. She doesn't know. Am I gonna tell her?
Is she Canaan?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Then you need to arrange something that will make sense to her. Maybe he got terrible food poisoning and got dehydrated and passed away.
This wound's never closed.
Hmm?
His wound's never closed. That's part of the poison. It didn't allow his wounds to heal.
Chimerically, or
Oh, it's probably, yeah.
and if she's not Canaan, then you don't need to worry about that.
True. I have to think
Maybe
of something.
maybe a combination of
I
an allergic
don't want to
reaction.
lie.
I know, but on the other hand, for her, the good news is that
Yeah.
you're amazing at it. Trust me, I know.
I don't even know her. Like, he kept that part of his life away from, like, well, at least me. And I know, like, Holly knew, but luckily she's gone, and I'm not sure about Valerie, but she was with your Baron.
I'm really
I don't
sorry.
even know her.
Is that's something else I can find out for you if you want?
I mean, I can go to his house.
Oh,
Look,
no,
I'm
not the
sure.
daughter. The daughter's yours. I just meant if you want to know who actually did this to Alistair. Because believe me, I have every intention of finding the person who did it to Baron Alexander. And I know who did it.
I wanna kill those responsible.
Then I think we have a shared goal. Two different
Yeah.
people, probably. But I want to see this guy dead. Whether I do it, of course, if I get the chance, I'm doing it.
Ultimately, two different people, but there's only one who, like, leads them to do these kind of things. So this war needs to stop, and we need to be the ones stopping it. I think
Actually,
Alistair would have hated the fact that I've turned Sealy, but
what's wrong with being Sealy?
I mean, I don't know. I just think he would have been. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. maybe he
If
wouldn't
you
have
were
cared.
friends, he would have accepted it.
Yeah, he was just way more than just my friend. When when I got to this, you know, life, this change, I had my chrysalis. He was assigned to me as a mentor. I mean, on hindsight, I'm pretty sure if Finn would have been alive, but he wasn't, and he would have done it. But he died as well. So they called him in. People thought it was like so like what's her name, Carthia. She was actually thinking that it was stupid to let him mentor someone, and others kind of thought like, okay, troublemaking childling and fallen noble mentor, and haha, I suppose. I don't know, man. But like in the beginning, I didn't want him to be around, but he just kept not pushing, but just taking care without much expectation. He was just there, and I learned that I could rely on him and trust him, and now that is gone again, and he helped me so much.
Well, you know what? Now you're going to live for him. You're his legacy.
Yeah,
In the same way that I'm Alexander's legacy. And I'm my mother's legacy. And I'm Ragnar's legacy. Like, everybody who we lose, everybody who we know that we loved is a part of us. And they live on through us. I have to believe that. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to find that asshole who did that. Because that is a cruel
yeah.
joke, even for a film. So,
I will find
when
out who did it, and yeah.
I mean, I can probably help you find out who. As she reaches into her book bag and pulls out a new stopwatch. She broke the other one in the battle, and she'll pull it out and hold it in her hand. Because I'm kind of good with this.
If there's anything you need, I will help you with this, or with anything else. If you can help me find out who did this, I'm
This
willing to make
kind of works
whatever oath
amazingly.
or promise or contract. But I
Listen
will.
to me. Don't need any of that for that reason. If you want an
I
oath,
mean,
we'll talk about it, okay? But I'm not going to do this. I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing this for him. Okay?
I could understand you might want that reassurance, but okay.
We've been through a lot, you and me.
Yeah.
But in the end, who did I turn to when everything was broken? And in the end, who did you turn to when everything is broken?
Obvious, Ryder. That
Absolutely.
was a question, so
I know. That's why she understood what you meant. She's like, absolutely. Which in her case is truth and a lie.
Hmm.
So I'm going to say no oath at this point until I know that you're in a better mindset, okay? I don't want you to just sell your soul. Because you know it helped you. And I understand exactly what it means to need to know what happened. All I need is to be able to be with his body long enough to be able to do this.
He's still at
And
the, as far as I know, he's still at the baronial freeholds, Queens. So
I'm sure between us we can come up with a bunk that is meaningful.
yeah,
You know better than me.
he did tell me what actually happened there. He was awake when I came there. He told me how the ambush happened, sort of.
But at least if one of us has seen a face, we might even be able to see enough clues to give him a name. Have you heard of Sigvald?
Mm,
Sigvard wears an iron crown.
God, shit! I should have asked Moosh.
It's okay. I
I
mean, you
know.
can just be like, you can just say, I've heard the name if you think you
Yeah.
have. Because Donna had two.
Mm. So, remember that, or I mean, that freehold with like the webs and everything, right? The first freehold we took.
She shakes her head.
And I was in there twice before we got it. One time I was captured with like the first investigation group with Alistair as well. We were caught in those strange pod things, but we got out. That doesn't matter, that part actually. So the second time we were charged with like a group to I was just me and like a couple of others. I didn't know them before the thing. It was actually the mission that got me kicked out of the army.
That was the best mission. I
We
hear
were
there's some
charged to
fine
find.
stories about that.
I mean, because I disobeyed, the mission was a success. Because we were planning to go back empty-handed because we couldn't find the entrance. But since I had been in that freehold, I could create a passage towards it. So I did, and then I was in that freehold again, and I was sneaking around to try and find the exits. That, in the end, was, well, a slaughterhouse, and we used that as an entrance to, you know, actually take the freehold in the end. Mm,
Totally unfamiliar with
That
that part
also
of the story.
it, it also doesn't particularly matter. But when I was in that freehold, I was on my own and I was snooping around, and I saw what was her name again? That Savardol bitch. Aranessa.
Ironessa?
Yeah. No, no, totally different. But she was with someone. I I need to think on
Was he
whether I caught a
silvery?
name or a face. It happened real fast, and I didn't want to, get very much closer than I already was. After all, I needed to find the exit, not be captured or killed on my own in a Thalane
Oh, that's the
freehold.
best plan.
It's slightly problematic. Totally the best plan. So I need to check my memories. I can't really think straight right now, but it might have been. It was definitely another Sevatal.
Well,
And he seemed to be
that
in charge of, you know, a situation. I'm just not sure if he was like the top dog or not.
well, if he was Sigvald, he was totally the lowest man on the totem pole. And he's also the fine, fine gentleman that murdered my lord.
I'm pretty sure if we had like fought him and had won, then I would have recognized him. But so
Well, I'm looking for more information on him and, anybody else that we need information on, like, various enemies. And we may have an acquaintance in common who I believe could potentially be willing to make a deal in return for information that they might have. I'm sure you know that I completely need you to blab this to everybody, right?
absolutely. I think I know who you're talking about. She and I and Maven actually have a deal.
Well,
Sort of.
we need information. And I know what she wants. You know what she wants.
Mm,
I don't know how to
yeah.
do it, but I know enough to know that I believe it's possible, which means that the information is out there somewhere. We just got to find it.
Okay. I'll
So, what I want to do is contact her and see if she would be willing to turncoat in order to get not just your cooperation, but a contract that we will do everything we can that we can think of to try to help her. Because we need the information now, not later.
I can definitely not make phone call. I don't have her number or anything, and I certainly haven't met her. Or
I have her number too, but that's fine if you prefer to do it, because since you've already established a contact.
mm, whatever.
I'm
I don't mind.
I was trying to help her of my own free will, but if I can get something very important out of it, if she's willing to endanger herself to help us, then we could potentially get the help we need. She gets the help she needs, and she becomes one of us again. Anyways, it's a win-win-win all around.
Mm, I think she would appreciate that because she wasn't she wasn't very happy with the fact that we had very little to offer when it came to like help. So
Well, I mean,
like
I'm not sure if you realize quite how much or how very little information I've picked up on Helene. Totally don't have any books on the subject. But I believe it's possible. And
cool.
we gotta I'm not quite sure what oh,
Sorry.
bless you. Um
Sorry.
it's okay. I think it can be done. It may be a higher cost than we want because Helene.
Mm,
But you know what? If we can stop this war and prevent anything like the other day happening again, I think we're at a win.
yeah.
And once we know
I
who
absolutely
did,
disagree with you.
obviously you realize we must keep this to ourselves. because obviously I'd be the most popular noble if anybody knew about this.
I thought you didn't care for popularity.
Well, I'm not worried about popularity as much as not going into prison. A bird in a cage is not a happy person.
Hmm, I've heard that they were quite cozy, actually. But if you if you want to establish contact, go ahead. But I'm more than happy to do it, and it would help, get my mind off shit. You know.
Would you be willing to offer the same contract that I am? Because you might be even accepted even more if there's two of us who do it.
No problem. Like I said, I already have a deal with her.
Tell me that I really, really should not ask about that.
I mean, it's not that big a deal, in all honesty. She would give information, and in exchange, me and Maven would do whatever we could. So,
Well, in this case, I guess we're just going for more specific information then.
yeah.
Like we need to know if there's going to be another attack, where it's going to be. Um, I need to know about Sigvald and what that crown does, if it does anything, because it's iron. At least it looked like iron.
Mm, that would be slightly problematic.
I mean, it's not a weapon. What's it going to do? Throw it at you?
I mean, would it
But
still hurt if it
absolutely
became a
not. I mean, metal never hurts.
weapon? Ultimately, everything is a weapon as long as you use it in a certain way.
Yeah, believe me, I know. I totally didn't dump boiling water on someone, and yeah.
So yeah, I'll help out. It's cool.
Neither of us should ever have to go through that again, and neither should any of the people here. This needs to stop
Mhm.
in our favor.
And again, I absolutely disagree with you.
Wonderful. By the way, at some point during this, she did stop the forced hug. She would not have stayed there like after when it got to the creepy point.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay.
So when we're asking things of each other, I was thinking, if something happens, if something happens to me, right?
There are narrowed eyes.
You're the only one, and especially now, that's my, you're the only one that knows about my dad, and I don't wanna. I know that I know if something happens that you would help him out, but I kind of want to give you. I want to ask you a favor. There's a In my apartment. There's a file. It's in my wardrobe next to the vault of the mariner, and I'm gonna put a letter in there. And if something happens, would you be willing to get that file and that letter and hand it to him.
First of all, obviously, I would never do that for you. Never. Second of all, why do you think something's going to happen to you?
I mean, we're at war, so totally everyone's gonna stay safe, and we end this war singing kumbaya with each other. I always kind of thought that I would, you know, I would skip by the things, but with Alistair, it got more real that there's someone that I need to help in the sense that he's the only family that I have, and I need to tell him stuff. And I don't have any particular reason, and please don't think that I'm gonna do something like that may have been the old
Suicidal?
me. Absolutely not, absolutely not suicidal. But no, I like that was like I get I if I look at myself just like a couple of months ago, half a year, I've done some shit that I'm not proud of to others, but also to myself. And
You're
that
not
file
alone.
is a summary of my youth, and it sort of explains how I became who I am, and I just think it's really important that if I can't tell that to him myself for any kind of reason, then I want
Then
him to
he
sort of at least understand.
I already said I'd do it. I wasn't going to question what was in it. It's not even my business. I just,
I mean,
it's just nice seeing you like this. Not sad, but worrying about him like that.
it's I've I felt this way for a while. Like that's why I went to search for him and found someone to take care of him. But it's hard to actually say it to him. He's caring, and I've held so much anger for so long. It's hard to just simply let that go. I want to be able to talk to him and explain to him the situation and that I'm not mad at him anymore. That I've yeah, grown, I guess. I don't know, man. But
It's okay. You should enjoy your growth. I never grow.
it's
I'm
more
always
like,
horribly short.
yeah, no, I'm gonna be 4 meters when I'm like, done with this.
That's a very big otter.
I'll even look down on trolls.
This should be your goal.
Definitely life goals. The thing is just that we don't know what's going on. We are at war, and yeah, losing Al just made it painfully obvious that what we're doing is really dangerous. And I
Yeah.
don't have, like I said, I don't have anyone that kind of knows. Like, if Al would have still been here, he would have been the one to go to my apartment and look over things, and he would just find it. But he's no longer here. Now I'll have to do that for him in a way. And I don't want my dad to not know.
Well, for one thing, I think you should try to talk to him about some of it. Maybe not right
Yeah,
this minute, but honestly, it might actually make you feel better, even if it was right this minute. But that's your call. You need to try to
I
talk
want
to
to,
him.
but yeah. No, I definitely want to. But, for all we know, we go and meet our nursey friends and there's another ambush or something, Like, I plan on talking to him, but I also
Good.
just want to make sure that if for some reason I can't, that my bases are covered.
Well, as wonderful as the subject is, of course, I do have an idea to add to it. If you're really that worried about it, make your will and put it in there too.
I don't have much stuff. The
You
most
own a
important thing is that
bar.
my bar needs to be sold. And I already thought of putting in the letter that, you and him could do that if you would be willing, and,
You
I
mean
don't
to
know,
help
split the
him sell
money
it for
or
him? I don't want your
yeah,
money. I think he should have it so that he can have the best care possible.
yeah, I think
I
so too,
appreciate your
but
thinking of me, but that's not needed. I make plenty of money, and if I need more, I can go to my dad.
well, there's I don't know, I don't have I mean, you could have the motorcycle because I can't give it to him because it's flies, or
If that's what you want
the
me to have, then
guitar.
put it in the will. Then put it in the will.
Ah,
You need to decide this stuff. I'm not just no. You're not going to have me picking through your stuff right now because you are alive and well, and we're going to do something about the stupid Elaine.
okay.
So you decide what you think, and then just do it. I don't need to even know.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
But would you mind if I gave you a key to my house? Just in case.
I would mind that horribly. It would make my keys very, very heavy.
I know I do have extremely heavy keys.
Not so much the keys as the responsibility.
If I had someone else to go to, I wouldn't ask you to take on like the responsibility on your own. That's,
Hey, we're Pooka siblings, right?
I suppose.
I don't know. I'm just making up things. But,
I
I
mean, I
mean,
actually thought
it,
you were a satyr, but
I'm that very, very odd satyr. As she kind of plays with her hair and kind of pulls out a feather. Okay. Then why don't you contact Kim? I do not
Mm-hmm.
only have her phone number, I also still have her lab coat. And I actually have her name badge as well. And I think I might have her wallet. Apparently, I take a lot of stuff.
Are you sure you're not like a magpie, Pooka?
It would be an honor if I was a magpie puka, but I am certain that I am most definitely the most magpie of magpie pukas. Honestly, I could offer it back to her as a bit of a peace offering.
I'm not quite sure if that stuff holds so much value after months.
True, but it is not really my stuff.
Hmm.
I could still give it to her. It's not like I need it.
I thought that, Knights of Queens were forced to wear lab coats.
Only when they're trying to deal with an Oneiromancer gone badly wrong. Badly wrong. Although to be fair, I think I was a squire then. Yes, I was a squire then. Hey, I'm
Hmm.
working on this place, but you're welcome here anytime.
That's cool.
I have to get some help. Because if nothing else, there's no way I'm going to be able to handle my library on my own. Gonna have to get someone to be the librarian. And I need guards.
I
Because what if they attack again?
I would suck at both.
That doesn't mean you can't come here. And that doesn't mean that, even you will read a book every now and then, if you need
I
to.
still don't like that.
Reading?
Going to different schools and, being pulled out and then go back and missing months and then having a month of school and then dropping out. It's just reading never became a thing.
Well, I'm not trying to change you. I just,
But I do need books from
sometimes,
time to time.
well, there you go. And I do have some
You know,
very interesting books, some of which are not even in the library.
maybe when all this is over, I will write my own books.
You should make an appointment with our buddy Gimmick. He wrote a rather famous book.
I mean, I would probably make a cocktail recipe book.
Well then, maybe you shouldn't contact Gimmick. Do you do you want to crash in Queens tonight? You could stay at my place if you
Hmm.
want. Maybe you shouldn't be alone.
I was actually thinking about, I don't know, going back home and just maybe go to his place.
Are you
Like I
sure
said,
you shouldn't wait until tomorrow for that?
it is getting kind of late, isn't it?
I just think a good night's sleep would probably help before you go. And knowing that there's some. I mean, Dalen will be in his room as well, but honestly, you can have my bed if you want, and I'll sleep in L form. It's just as comfy.
I mean, I could turn into an otter and we could both use the bed.
True.
I'll come along, but I don't know.
If you don't sleep, wake me up. Unless you just need to be alone right then.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I was just going to try to figure out what to do with all this. Because it still, for now, needs to be a guard against Long Island, you know? But that's not what it's going to permanently be, I hope.
I mean, library pillow fort.
That is the second best idea I've had all day. Well, second best idea I've heard all day. That wasn't really my idea.
I'm great.
I mean,
with,
library
like,
is mine.
second best ideas.
Well, because you're the second best Pooka. I'm not saying I'm the first best, by the way. I just,
First best is no longer here.
I hear you. Come on, maybe we can go veg out on some completely worthless TV and finish off this pizza. Complete brainless. And tomorrow, first thing, you can go to your place, shower, or you can shower at my place and go to his place and try to figure out what to do. And if you want me to come along, I will. If not, then you can do it.
I don't want to keep you from your duties. Like, after all, we do have a war to finish.
Yeah, well, that's actually Jareg's responsibility now, isn't it?
Oh, God. Jarek. Yeah.
To be fair, though, I obviously am still working with the war effort. And I did tell him I would do my best to come up with some information that they could use. I didn't actually bother to mention any of my plan because I know exactly how he would react.
Yeah. I told him I still have feelings for him. It's maybe
So
the
you've admitted
stupidest
it to
thing I could do, but
It's good to know that you've admitted it to yourself, at least.
hmm.
You know,
I
I could
mean,
tell
I
every time you
honestly don't
mentioned
think
him.
it's. Yeah. I don't think it's going to change anything between us. I think he hates me still, but I don't want to lose him, too, in a way.
I'm not here to judge your. Yeah,
Trust me,
peop,
I am
peop,
judging me.
I'm just saying people don't choose who they love. Do you really think a dragon intended to fall in love with me? Come on now. I'm a very small bird. And that's, I mean,
I
assuming that
know
what the story says is true, but you know.
it's like I know that things aren't entirely right, I guess, but yeah, like you said.
That said, it doesn't hurt to pay attention to your instincts and the uncomfortable feeling that is around when he's around. That might be something to pay attention to.
I know, and I've been worried about it ever since I first felt it, but
You're not the only one.
it's
I know
double,
of
you know. I also
several.
can't get over the feeling that he's a good guy and he means well. It's just I need to get into his brain that
I agree with you, actually. I do think he's a good guy and he means well. But you know what? Sometimes good people do bad things, and sometimes bad people do good things. Nothing is absolute.
well, that would make Jarek and me a match made in heaven and hell, as he's the good guy doing the bad things and I'm the bad guy doing the good things.
What does that make me? I lost my lord yesterday. I lost Alexander. And I'm willing to make deals with Thelaine. What does that say about me?
Guess we're all a bit grey.
I Lunid. Maybe you didn't know this, but we are very much about the balance between Seelie and Unseelie. We need both.
Well, perhaps if I ever would think of becoming a squire, come knocking at your door. Although I would be a very poor squire.
Which just means you'd be the best squire. Now I understand. I'm not going to ask, because I feel like you're not really ready yet, and that's fine. But, if the subject comes up, we'll talk.
I don't think I would ever become a noble. That's not me.
I
Ultimately,
know.
what I want is just, the bar and
You do know the only reason I am a noble is because of Alexander, right?
I totally know everything about that.
He saw what I was doing. I was just me, a Pooka who just wanted to help. Nobody even believed half the things I said. But Alexander, he listened to me. He gave me a chance. He let me show who I am and what I can do.
Like, I get you, and in a way, that's awesome. But
Most she look at Pooka and go, gross. The only thing worse than us is like, I don't know, redcaps? Maybe Slua? Maybe a Pisky. Ryder was exceptionally good at being a squire.
I just don't think that I'm made for the politics that comes with the job.
That is something I've had to think about a lot. Like, I didn't realize how much it would be until I became a Dane, actually. But on the other hand, think about it. I mean, I realize it didn't end up going down the way I had planned, but if it wasn't for politics, I wouldn't have been able to get Maven to agree to get rid of Morgan.
I mean, I think the
I
Talene did a
know.
pretty good job at that.
That was horrifying. And there is something poetic about
Sorry,
it,
that
but
was
so wrong.
no one should have.
She started the
No one
game and
should
they
have their
ended it.
heads on a spike.
I know. We
They
agree
did.
on this. But that's not really the point, though. The point is that she was going to do it. I told you that.
Mm, I know. I
And
know.
I would never have been able to try that if I hadn't taken that path.
I've been the pawn of so many political bullshit for so long that I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. I think I just prefer to be who I am. I can help people this way, and it still helps. I still can make a difference.
Of course, we all can.
And I just never ever gonna leave a loved one. I got to the army because I wanted to protect him, and then I wasn't there. It's the only reason why I joined. And when he needed me, I wasn't there.
You
And that's not gonna happen another time for me.
don't have control over everything. And I'm not saying that you won't do everything in your power to protect the people you love. I mean, I would throw myself in front of a machine gun to save my dad. Throw myself across a hand grenade. It doesn't matter. I just want him to be okay. But I can't be with him all the time. You can't be with people you care about every single minute. You just can't. That's called being a stalker if you are. I know you don't really like what I'm saying and you probably don't want to accept it, but I think deep down you know it's true.
Yeah, but remember when that bitch impersonated him and we found out about it? And I found him back in Sanction, where they had him in an arena, making him fight.
I don't think I knew that part.
Well,
I knew he was missing. I knew we were investigating it. I knew you disappeared, and I knew that Alistair was back.
I had a way to get to Sanction. I had a person that I knew. He helped me to get there. I negotiated with their leader and got him
Yeah,
out.
don't get me wrong, you made a good call in not like taking me to sanction because hello, as she like holds her arms out and then will kind of lift her necklace with the the silver and like people know who I am. They know I'm a noble.
Mm,
So if I went there and they know I'm Sealy, so if I go there, I know I'm toast. And it would just be I would be no help to you whatsoever. It's like if I went to Jersey.
yeah, I know.
But
That's why I went
you
along.
could but you could have at least let me know so that somebody would know where you were at if you didn't show back up.
I I just knew that I needed to find him.
But you see my point though. People do care about what happens to you. Me, I care about what happens to you.
And I care about what happens to you as well.
Donna just blinks because
It
she's
was a
not
while
used to
back.
hearing stuff like that from her.
Out of character. Welcome to Sealy Terry.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
still
not
have to
telling you
pay
not
them
to
once more.
once more.
I've been paying off the debt for months to them.
Should consider adding a little extra gift into it now because it's not like they can do anything to hurt him.
No, but there's still others.
If there's a gladiator arena in there, that really needs to be broken up. Not gonna lie.
Well,
Something to worry about later because right now there's a war.
yeah.
But I mean, that's awful. Like, that's slavery.
Mhm. I know. I know. It just ever since that happened, I just really wanted to protect him. You know, it felt like, in a way, the tables had turned somewhat, and you know, I could help him instead of the other way around. He'd done so much for me. Got me clean. Him and Jared got me clean.
There is a suspicious lack of white powder around your nose. Still can't believe Ryder gave that to Hedwig.
He tried to bribe me into doing something for him with, like, that, and it was kind of, I will admit, it was kind of satisfying to just shove it back in his face.
What did he want you to do?
I believe it was the entire Maven thing.
You mean when we were trying to get her in as countess?
Hmm.
You know I never backed his method, right? I still think she was a far better choice than Demavend, who was all friends with the Falcons.
I mean,
But she's not perfect either.
yeah, that's sort of the thing, right? If you look at the Bronx, like, you know, it's not a bad place. Like, I know a lot of
No, I
North
don't.
Sealy, like they see it differently, but the place works, and yeah.
I don't have a problem with Demavend as a person. My problem is not with Guardians, it's just with one specific group.
Mm,
And the fact that he's friendly with them would have brought them more power, and it would have balanced the power yet more against like everybody else.
I get you. I was just, I had an idea, and I wanted to. I wanted to have the common ground, but I
And
didn't want to
I would have
abandon
backed
the
you.
Mariner. I didn't want to abandon the Mariner, so I had to make a deal. That was their deal.
I know.
Like I said, too much politics. I almost instantly regret it. But You know, a deal was made. I didn't want to back out. I don't like that. Anyway, that's way in the past. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I'm sure Ryder is screwing somebody else over in a very perfect manner wherever it is he's wandered off to this time. He's just a master at doing that.
Did he ever tell you about the Jersey thing?
Depends what Jersey thing you mean.
The one where he went in and just killed people?
You mean that wasn't that something to do with how he left?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I only heard bits of the story, the texts before he left. You know, I had to work with him quite a lot.
Yeah. His baron wanted to investigate a couple of, or well, actually one murder. I helped out. And that trail brought us to Jersey, and apparently we found out that people were working for the Shadow Court. They were the ones getting murdered. But we had a lead, we had a group of people, and they were like making, not necessarily, yeah, well, they were making fun of us, and it wasn't very pretty, I will admit that, but they didn't really do anything wrong. And
Oh,
I
but making fun
just,
of Ryder, he's so full of pride.
yeah. So when we returned there, he went in there and I didn't follow him immediately. I went through a different route. By the time I was there, he had like murdered all of them. I couldn't believe it. Like, what the fuck? So
I'm sure there must have been some story, some reason behind what he did.
I told Jarek. I told him what happened.
And that
I
would
know it
be
wasn't the fact that Ryder murdered those people there. I told him. And after that, Ryder left.
I believe it was actually a bit more political than that in the end.
Mm-hmm.
All the details, but I'm pretty sure Megan was involved.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Jarek was her advisor at that point.
And she is again, and he is again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind Jarek. I mean, when he was, you know, leading the war effort before. I mean, I've never been friends with him. You know, not so into the being slapped around thing either. But we got past that a long time ago, and I can work with him. I've never had a problem with that. When we have the same goals, I can work with him.
There's a different side to him as well. Softer side. Just
I'll trust you on that,
friendly.
because I doubt I'll ever see that.
I miss that. I did eventually find out who were the ones murdering those people, or what were the ones behind the murder in Manhattan.
What happened to him?
The Flaming Falcon.
You get her full attention at that. See?
Don't ever tell anyone.
You wouldn't believe the amount of things that I'm never going to tell.
I know. That's why I'm trusting you. So, when Ryder had left, I decided to pick up the investigation just because I wanted to know. I was curious. Like, the problem still hadn't been solved. I don't know if it's solved now. Probably not. But I had my contact from Sanction. And him and I continued the investigation because now we knew that these people were members of the Shadow Court that were being murdered.
Was it a
So,
specific flaming falcon?
yes.
May I ask who? You know I'm not going to tell anybody. Scout's honor.
Him and I continued our investigation, and he knew some art, and we followed the trail. And we were led to a place, and I just rang the door. I don't even know exactly what happened anymore. It's got so screwed. But we got into the house of this squire of Jarek, Slua. She
Wait, was this Vaughn's character?
no,
Vaughn's old PC?
no. It was
Okay,
he.
because I know he was
It,
a squire of
no.
Jarek's for a bit, I think. Okay,
I think that was actually it's Robert's character, but no, it's like a different one.
that's fine.
So we got into the house, we got into a conversation, and then her and my contact started fighting. And it just went even, it went even. I didn't really know who to, back up. But I didn't want them to fight. And I'd hoped we'd been able to find a way, resolve it somehow. Stupid. So I had some darts with heavy tranquilizers, and I used one on my contact. And he just looked at me, and then she just chopped his head off.
Like, her jaw drops. A falcon did something dishonorable, like cutting off someone's head when they're incapacitated like that?
I was so surprised. I
How did they even manage to do that?
just don't tell anyone. I shouldn't even told you. I should have just, you know. But I know what they're doing is just so. It's not right what they're doing.
I'm not saying the Shadow Court's good. It's obviously not. It's very dark and focused on all the wrong things. But I'm not so sure murdering everybody without even giving them a trial is really the right way either.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
doesn't that make you wonder whether Jared was involved? Or if Jared knew?
Terry is not gonna answer that, but like Donna can see on her face that that is exactly what Terry's worried about.
You have my word. I'm not going to tell anybody about this. I don't see what good it would do. We have plenty of reasons to want to try to deal with that situation already.
Yeah.
So, why don't we go? Basically, this is Donna's letting her off the hook.
Mhm.
You haven't eaten much. We're going to take the rest of this pizza with us. We're going to go find the most brainless and stupid show we can find on TV. Okay? And we're not going to think, at least try not to think, about the people we've lost. I'm not going to get mad if you do, though.
I'll do my best.
You can pick the show.
I don't really watch much television.
Me neither. That doesn't change the fact that that's what we need right now. We're going to look for the cheesiest reality TV show ever.
Cool, sure.
Also, I have, beer at my house if you want it.
I would, yeah. Beer sounds like good.
Because, I wasn't really worried about my wine cellar at the moment when I have a hole in the wall. As she gestures over there.
I mean, you know, if there's a moment for renovations, it's probably this. There's not much left anyway.
Oh, believe me, this place is going to be all kinds of renovated. I have plans. How do otters feel about trees?
They provide shade. But I can grow them for you if you want. Easy.
Well, let's just say if it's going to be my place, then I think I should be comfortable here, right? And I rather like trees.
Maybe if you would get a line of trees, like next to the wall on the inside. If this place would get attacked, it would be so much easier to just thicken them and, you know, get more branches in between them, and with vines and everything, you could basically create a living second wall. It was
I
one
am
of the
all
ideas
about
I had for
having.
defending this place, but didn't have enough time.
Yeah. You know, I thank you for not questioning me when I pushed the point, and I really needed to do this. That day, I really, really needed to put
It's
myself on the line in this scenario.
it wasn't my place to question, especially not then. Like,
No, but you've never worried about that. You've never worried about it not being your place to do something. You just do it anyway. I know you.
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't your place to kidnap Jarek, and then you kidnapped Jarek.
it feels so long ago.
Yeah, you could tell your grandkids that story.
Perhaps.
The point the point being, I know that if you weren't okay with it or if you felt it was the wrong choice, you could have stood up to me and you could have made this whole thing that much worse, and you didn't. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was the right thing. Like, ultimately, and you and I both know this, you're not the one with the most experience when it comes to defending freeholds from that
Yes,
group.
I do not know that. And he knew
But
that and I knew that.
I didn't want to create a situation where we had a fight before we had a fight. Like, believe it or not, I've learned a few things over the years. One of them is that sometimes you do need to keep your mouth shut. And this was one of that moments. And I had no doubts that you would, you know, be able to work something out. I think maybe Jarek would have done it with a little bit more ease. But
I didn't.
ultimately, the most important thing was that everybody stood side by side and we fought. And that's what we did. And then it doesn't matter who's in charge, because then everybody is working towards the same goal. And that is how the situation should be. It shouldn't be about the leader, it should be about the unity of a group. And if I would have butted in, that unity would have been more fragile. And I didn't want that. And we didn't need that.
Leaders can't become leaders if they're not allowed to lead. Yes, he had a lot more experience than me. I don't question that at all. He said it, and he was right on that point. But there's nothing more fierce than someone fighting for their home. And while this specific freehold was not my home then, this is
Well, you are
Queens.
a master of Kronos, so it might as well have been your home already or not. I don't know. Time works funny that way.
Time definitely works funny, as I learned. But the thing is I couldn't let somebody else lead the charge, if you know what I mean. When this is my home, and I had to do it for Alexander. I think maybe you get that.
Mm, I mean,
I had to do it for him.
I wouldn't have allowed him to lead the defenses on the Mariner if it had come to that. And I can't say the entire Bronx because I'm damn sure I have no say in it. But the Mariner is my place, and no one would question my authority in that place. I get it. I do.
Well, I mean, he stood down, and I was perfectly happy to take his advice. In fact, please give it all to me. You have the experience. I'm not stupid. But I needed to do that for him. I knew Alexander was dead. I felt the oath break. At that point, Donna does kind of look off, and you can definitely see that the tears that are starting to well up there, but she's trying not to cry too, you know?
I mean, Terry's, I mean, maybe not that good or that much natural at comforting people. Although, as a bartender, she does have that experience. It just kind of works differently than when you're sitting next to someone. So she just kind of, pats Donna's hand.
That's fine. That's actually a lot from her. It's okay. Um, I couldn't give him much, but I could keep Queens in one piece for him, you know?
I get you. When when Finn died, well, you remember at least the end of it. It might have took me months, but I found who did it. I found at least the one who was responsible for sending those assassins on his ass.
I have very, very, very clear memories of what went down then. Yes.
Sure you do. In the end, we found Holly, and that was the most important thing.
And I watched somebody give up his life for me. Somebody who I just met.
He was part of their group at first, like Lime was. I'm glad that they. I'm not glad that they lost their lives, but I'm glad that they made the choice to, you know, in their way, help to put a stop to it.
I think if anyone redeemed themselves in that moment, it was him. And I can never forget that I owe the fact that I'm still standing here. You know, in many ways, I owe that to him.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have sent you down there, but I knew I needed to act on two fronts. I didn't want to create an entire ruckus because then it would have been in vain. So,
That was your victory, and I'm just happy to have played a small part. It's fine.
well, for what it's worth, I'm sorry to have sent you there without like a proper explanation or anything. But I wasn't sure of everything at that point, so I had to take guesses and gambles. And well, you and I were just things were just different back then.
You think? Sorry. It's been a rough few days.
I know.
Do you know of any knights who would love an opportunity in Queens? I think we may have an opening.
Do I know knights? No. Of course, I know all the knights. Like, let me grab my phone book. I'll ring a few for you.
Just wondering. You never know.
Look, maybe this is a novel idea. Maybe there are a few commoners who could temporarily act with the same, you know, authority as a knight. I'm sure there are plenty of commoners in the Bronx or in Queens, sorry, who could be, you know, helpful in that situation. Talk to the commoners front, like, and they could just temporarily be knights, maybe, or not
It's
call
an
them knights,
idea.
give them that authority for a moment.
Well,
I'm
the
sure there's
problem
commoners you can trust.
is I believe my new lady is probably not going to be the biggest fan of that plan. She's a little traditional.
Well, if it's only temporarily until Queens has enough stuff again.
But I believe there's one coming in. I believe we have one more that should be coming soon. Um, but probably need another one.
Look, if I can help in
Politics.
any way, let me know. However unconventional some of my methods have been over the, well, time, I've gotten
Let me
results.
just let me just judge you then. As she like stares you down. in a very cheesy sort of way, like she's judging you.
Terry kind of shrugs.
Yeah, nothing from her comes off as intimidating. We know that. Um, okay, well, I'm going back to the house now. No matter what, we can talk the rest of the night. It's fine, but what's the worst that happens? I call off from work and my dad takes it. Like, what's my dad gonna do?
I would really be interested in that beer.
Absolutely. We could even stop at the liquor store on the way back if you want.
Uh,
If you have something you
Fine.
prefer that
Just
we don't have. We have
no,
beer and
beer is
cider.
fine.
Okay. Let's just say that Dalen and I are not necessarily the most cultured of tastes. So we keep it kind of simple.
There's nothing wrong with the kiss methods.
Wonderful. All right, well, let's go. And she'll grab the box and kind of gesture for any of her chimera that probably wandered off to do other things in here to come back, because she would have just let them like fly off and do whatever at this point. Like they're in a pretty safe place as far as she's concerned. So Trubbish comes back chewing on something. We probably don't want to know what it is.
And then the line attacked. Sorry.
Wait, remember we put all that garbage out in the middle of this
Mhm,
area,
mhm.
and there was still some there? He's probably chewing on some broken furniture or some tree branches or something like that. Whatever what junk we used to make this into one path.
Yeah. Terry would just, simply follow Donna again.
Yep. And she'll be like, "Are you sure you don't want another piece while we're traveling?" As she opens up the box towards you, it's got cold pizza in it now, of course, but
Terry probably put her like not eaten piece back in the
yeah,
box,
I'm
so
sure.
she's looking and says, "I'm not really hungry
Okay.
yet.
Well, it'll be in the
Maybe
fridge
when."
later.
Yeah.
Just don't really open the pot. There's a big stew pot in there. Unless you're into eating lizard stew, I suggest you don't open it. And she'll just take off. She starts walking a little bit ahead of you.
I mean, normally I would really roll curiosity on this, but I think Terry is too tired to really care that much. So I'm just gonna say that she's just gonna shrug and says, "Yeah, that sounds amazing," and then just
Well,
kind of follows.
fair enough. We could probably just end there with that,
Mhm.
with Donna grinning to herself a little bit because she's trying to get herself out of this mood too. Um, and yeah, we can just sort of end there, I guess. I think you have the button now.
Yeah, I have the button. So yeah, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another